Hello, my name is Malik. This is for my biomechanics class at WLC. The lab that I chose for this specific video is the Biodex. So the Biodex, just in short, to give a short summary before I go into the studies and everything for my video, the Biodex is a machine basically that's able to mimic certain movements within a specific sport or whatnot, and this machine can help strength and conditioning coordinators or whoever's working in some type of sports realm to be able to provide preventative care for athletes, and to also just get a general measure of where the particular athlete is at their specific sport or said career field. So to go over my first study that I looked at, so these are some of my notes that I thought were interesting for the particular study. So during this study, was done in 2008, and it focused on soccer players, professional soccer players, and they used the Biodex to kind of get a gauge to see where each player was at. And basically, this study was to see how symmetrical the strength and certain characteristics of the athlete were. And they found that some of the athletes had muscle imbalances between the hamstrings and the quadriceps, which would lead to some type of hamstring strain or some type of lower leg injury. And they found also that it would increase an athlete's chance of actually being hurt during the season. And so the main advantages of this study was that the Biodex was able to detect muscle imbalances which then could allow for personnel to give preventative care at an early stage. So what that means is that the personnel was able to give preventative care before an actual injury occurred. So that would lead into the third advantage, which would end up decreasing the amount of injuries that would end up happening during the season. Because as you can imagine, soccer players run a lot. They have to sprint and basically run for an entire game. So being able to reduce injury rates would be something that would be very effective for a team, especially if they're using a Biodex. And also, the Biodex is able to help kind of guide the personnel in terms of individualism for each athlete to kind of gauge what type of program they should be on in terms of bridging that deficit and or maintaining maintaining symmetrical strength. Within, my apologies there, video kind of cut out. But like I was saying, in the second study, it would show how symmetrical the strength would be between the two legs, and specifically the quadriceps in relation to the hamstring. So I just wanted to give y'all a visual of what the Biodex would look like as it relates to like the two studies I chose. So in this video, the female is doing an isometric hold with knee flexion and knee extension. And with the studies that I chose particularly, I've seen some other studies that show that isometrics like this with the Biodex is really good for rehab, especially in people who are having ACL reconstruction. So in my last and final study, this happened in 2005, and they tested juveniles with rheumatoid arthritis, and they used the Biodex to see if it could improve their strength, neuromuscular control. And what they found was that, as it shows in the graph, that when they used the Biodex, the isokinetic training could increase the muscle strength over time by comparing the post and pre-test values. but also the peak torque for the quadriceps and the hamstrings, which could also be compared by the before and after training in both legs. So this was my final study, and I just wanted to show that as another visual. This basically concludes my video.